against people will be waiting for you.
I tell you.
Oh no, but I like your spirit, and it's wonderful to connect with you again. Oh, by the way, Winston, the title of my next play is Just the Tip.
Hey, Uncle.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I see. Let me see. This is on the 24th of March.
24th of March, okay. And this is the first time we'll be adding Friday to it, and a third show on Sunday, which will begin at 1.
Oh, good.
So our regular weekend times apply, but we are adding Friday, and then we are adding a third show on Sunday to accommodate those who go to church and would want to pass through the National Theatre before going home.
I will be there to watch this one. Oh, but the last time I fulfilled my promise, so I will be there. I will come. I'll come and watch it.
Well, no, you're a man of your word, so I will leave it like that.
I will come. I'll be there.
Unlike somebody who shall remain nameless today. All right, now my presentation.
Sure.
Dear nephew, as you know, I am always glad to receive a letter from you, though it has been almost a year since I had one from you. I love it when you write to talk about matters of the heart. But I love this letter too, even though you were talking about something very different. Now to the matter you wrote about, you asked if it was worth celebrating 6th March in Ghana as our Independence Day. Your argument is that Ghana does not have anything to show for her independence apart from our flag and our national anthem and our currency, the cedi. And you say that of these, the most useless now is the currency. You argue that Ghana's cedi is a joke even on the local market. You make the point that the cedi has lost so much respect that even in Ghana, people quote prices in dollars and tell you to convert at the prevailing exchange rate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You then threw a challenge to me to show why we should continue to celebrate 6th March as Independence Day. My dear nephew, I can understand where you are coming from. I agree with you that after 66 years, Ghana does not have much to show for being a sovereign, self-governing nation. You are right that not much seems to be working in Ghana. As I write this letter, those of us at Teshinungwa, for instance, have had to deal with a very erratic power supply for the last 3 days. Our financial sector is in trouble. Our educational system is in poor shape. Our sports is at its lowest, so much so that to get people into the stadium for a Has Kotoko match with a cap at stake, the gate had to be made free to attract more spectators.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, a Has Kotoko match with a cap at stake is sold out hours before kickoff. Our healthcare continues to be a nightmare. So you are right that we do not have much to be proud of as a nation. But does that minimize the value of our independence? I don't think so. And here's why I say that. The human being is made to be free. Every human being has a right to be free. What it does with the freedom does not affect the value of that freedom. It was the inalienable right of the people of the Gold Coast, now Ghana, to be free, and thank God that we managed to gain it through the resourcefulness, the courage, and sacrifices of a whole host of Gold Coasters. That right to be free also includes the right to manage or mismanage our affairs. Unfortunately, we seem to have chosen to mismanage our affairs, but at least it is we mismanaging our affairs and not someone owning us, no matter how well they govern us. The way I see it, I think we shook off the colonial shackles politically, but we never freed our minds of what Bob Marley calls mental slavery.
Sure.
Mentally and economically, we did not gain independence. This state of affairs was given legitimacy when Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, quote, "Seek ye first the political kingdom of Ghana, and all other things shall be added unto you," end of quote. He was, of course, playing on the words of Jesus Christ, who said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all other things shall be added unto you." So we gained political independence. We raised our own flag and composed our own national anthem. We drew up our own budget, and the taxes we levied belonged to us and not to our colonial master. We did all these on the political level, but our economy remained the same. We remained exporters of raw materials and importers of finished goods. We produced raw materials to feed the factories in Europe and elsewhere, and failed to build any factories or sustain the few we built to process the products of our farmers and of our land. We had developed a taste for foreign goods and failed to improve the processes for improving our local foods and products. Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah tried to do something about this, but he was too focused on the politics that he did not achieve any long-term results on the economic fronts. And after him, no head of state has done much to change the situation. But that is only one aspect of the problem. The other side is that we fail to see this nation as a nation for all of us. We are not willing to die for this nation. And because of that feeling in ourselves, we have become a people who are skilled at blaming our problems on others and conveniently excusing our own contribution to those problems. For instance, whenever the Black Stars flop at any tournament, which has become the norm, unfortunately, Ghanaians accuse the players of not loving the nation enough and not being willing to die for the nation. Yet, most of those doing the accusing are in their own ways demonstrating a lack of love and devotion to the nation. We accuse those in power of being corrupt and of being incompetent and for not managing the affairs of the state well. Now, put the spotlight on these people doing the complaining, and you'll discover that in their own corners, they are corrupt and incompetent and non-performers. The point I'm making is that we need to get to the point in Ghana where we first of all take responsibility for our part in the woes of Ghana before we even think of pointing fingers at others. And if we manage to do that, we'll discover that the Ghanaian situation can indeed be turned around. My dear nephew, please don't excuse your lack of patriotism by pointing at the actions or inactions of others. And talking about patriotism, I want to draw your attention to the National Pledge. I know you learned it in school, but have you committed yourself to it? The National Pledge begins with the following words: "I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland." That is the opening line of the pledge. Do you think that if we are all faithful and loyal to Ghana, this nation will be in this sorry state? The next line says, "I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart." How many of us have committed ourselves to the service of Ghana with any degree of commitment, let alone with all our strength and with all our hearts? What I see are citizens committed to their own personal interests, often at the expense of the nation. Then comes the following line: "I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage, won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers." What is this heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers? And it is our independence as a nation. How many of us are holding it in any high esteem? This is followed by the following line: "And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana." Well, that is a big one. My dear nephew, before you point fingers at anyone, please ask yourself, what have you done to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana? The National Pledge ends with, "So help me God." Indeed, may God help all of us to be faithful and loyal to Ghana. May God help all of us to serve Ghana with all our strength and with all our hearts. May God help us to uphold our heritage in high esteem. And finally, may God help all of us to defend the good name of Ghana in all things. So, is the independence of Ghana useless? Is it just a flag and national anthem affair? My answer, it is not useless unless you and I want to reduce it to nothing. Ghana's independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with a total and unreserved and uncompromising commitment and loyalty of all Ghanaians and not just some Ghanaians. My regards to your father. Tell him to go easy on sugar and salt. And tell him to call. Have a wonderful day, my nephew, and keep the communication going. Your Uncle Ebu.
Wow. Uncle.
That's my presentation.
Thank you very much. You've summed up, the current state of Ghana for us this morning. Thank you very, very much. But
you're welcome.
Philip Nye has a message for you.
Yes.
He says, just the tip saying. That's what Philip Nye sent to me, that I should relay.
Yeah, tell Philip and all others that for this production, I am daring anyone to let their imagination go as wild as they can. And still, we'll beat that expectation at the National Theatre.
Okay. Uncle.
They can imagine anything the title is about, and the production will exceed it and will blow their minds.
Okay.
That is my commitment to anyone who obtains the tickets and come to the show.
We will come, and I'll tell them how they can obtain the ticket. Thank you very, very much, Uncle Aboagye, for joining us with Food for Thought this morning. Brought to us by Roverman